Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another prediction show. This is one of two for the week, and this is your two-man power trip.
Let's go! I'm back.
Finally back together. Yeah, we haven't done one of these in a while. I think the last one you did was for All Out with the Wild Thing.
That sounds right. Right.
And that was September. We're almost to the end of October. We're closer to next gen than we are to All Out. So, I mean, which is crazy to think.
Which is going to be in Knoxville, and for us currently 12 days. I can't wait to be in Knoxville. I feel real bad. I already told the rest of my coworkers, like, have fun the day after Halloween. I'll be driving home.
Yeah, it's going to be really bad. But you know what else is going to be really bad? This show.
Okay. I have a hot take.
Do it.
I don't think it's going to be as bad as we're predicting. I think a lot of in-ring performances are going to be really good. And I want to point to two matches that I think could really steal this show.
Do you want to do it as we go?
Yeah, I can do that because I think one of them is going to open the show.
That's fair. So just to give you a little bit of backstory for those who are just catching up with WWE in Saudi Arabia, they signed their 10-year agreement, and it's been under much scrutiny. They've come WWE's come under fire, and this is all in the news, so take it with a grain of salt, take it for what you will. They have come under scrutiny because of LGBT equality, human rights abuse, the war of attrition in Yemen, suppressing women's rights, although they did have I think now one or two women's matches, soon to be one, so this will be the second one on this card.
Yes, sir.
And then not to mention the death of Jamal Khashoggi, not sure. But they came under heavy scrutiny for that one, because a lot of people were calling to not even have the show because of that, not travel to Saudi. Stephanie McMahon says it was an incredibly tough decision given the heinous act, but in the end, it was strictly a business decision.
And this is really not including the own controversy. Well, this is post the agreement. We haven't really even included talking about the travel delay controversy that happened in 2019.
Yeah. It was after the card with Brock and Cain Velasquez and Braun Strowman and Tyson Fury. More than 175 wrestlers boarded the plane, and then were stuck there for 6 hours. Rough estimate of 20 wrestlers, almost 24 wrestlers arranged for their own separate charter to get out of Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
And then there is a lot coming from both sides, and still to this day, we don't know what happened.
So I'm real torn because look, this is the dark side of the ring episode just waiting to happen, and I'm going to be real.
It is.
I'm excited for it because we already know Carl Anderson. Say what you will. I know some people are really frustrated with how he's openly discussed some things lately. Has openly discussed how this felt and seemed like a hostage situation.
Mm-hmm.
There are a number of wrestlers who have been released since who discussed this, and it's not great. It's really not great. Hopefully there is not another issue with this. I pray for the safety of all the wrestlers. Hopefully nothing stupid or I really don't know the words to describe it. Heinous happens. this go around, because Lord knows I don't want to talk about politics on Monday when I'm able to be back.
Yeah, I definitely don't want this to be heavily political, but I think we at least have to make note of it, because especially pre-COVID, the WWE was getting ready to head back to Saudi at the beginning of the year, and it was the beginning of the year, and it started with the assassination of Qasem Soleimani, which led to U.S.-Iran conflicts, and then it just never happened. We never got back. It became a moot point because the world happened, and
it wasn't Crown Jewel. It was the Superstar Shakedown,
Super Showdown.
Super Showdown. There it is.
Wasn't that in Australia?
No. This one was, I believe, specifically in Saudi Arabia.
Which one? Oh yeah, Super Showdown was February 27th. Now I look at my notes. So that was the last time that they were in Saudi. Yep.
And the main event.
I called it, and I will go down in history as being the one that called it. Everybody was like, "That's not going to happen." So this is the sixth event in the agreement, the 10-year contract that WWE and Saudi Arabia have. Started with the Greatest Royal Rumble in April of 2018, which was main evented by the GER.
Ooh, I'm wrong. This is the third. This is going to be the third women's match.
Okay, I thought so.
You're right.
So it started with the GER, which was won by somebody that's no longer contracted by the company, and a trophy and championship that are non-existent now. Followed up by the first Crown Jewel, which was November 2018, headlined by DX versus the Brothers of Destruction, none of which are active wrestlers. Then June 2019, Super Showdown was headlined by The Undertaker and Goldberg. Goldberg's getting ready to be on this show, but The Undertaker, again, not a contracted wrestler. He's contracted.
He's not a full-time.
Yeah.
Every show. I mean, he's been increased for the buildup of this, but he's not someone who is day in, day out. Yeah. He's not Dolph Ziggler.
There you go. And then October 2019 was headlined by Rollins versus The Fiend, coming off of their widely panned Hell in a Cell match, in which it was stopped because Seth Rollins used a mallet. So this match couldn't be stopped for any reason. And then the last time we were in Saudi Arabia, Super Showdown, it was February 2020. It was The Fiend versus Goldberg for the Universal Championship, in which, you guessed it, Ryan predicted correctly once again, because he is pretty much the Nostradamus of wrestling predictions, and The Fiend dropped the title to Goldberg.
You're good, man. You're good. You dropped I think one a show.
Yeah, it's about.
But usually it's pretty non-consequential.
I've been pretty on point this year, which now leads.
You've been on it.
Yeah, which now leads us to this year's Crown Jewel. If you're watching us in the States, this will be Thursday at noon. It'll be 9 a.m. Pacific time. And what's funny about this is I forgot this show was coming up. And normally my shifts where I work are like 8 to 4, 9 to 5, maybe 7 to 3:30, somewhere in that ballpark of like an 8-hour shift. I'm off at noon on Thursday. Out of the blue. I did not request. I did not ask for it. I didn't switch with anybody. This is how the cards were dealt. And this is why I felt the need to be on this.
Life finds a way. I gotta tell you,
life finds a way.
Last time we did this show, it broke us. It really did. It broke us. There was I don't remember if it was a live stream or if it was I think it was a live stream. I want to tell you it was a watch along.
It sure was.
That is gone. It's absolutely gone. No one's ever going to find it. It's been removed. It's been destroyed. It was bad. It was really bad. I'm not. I'm so torn. I'm so torn because this show typically leaves kind of a bad taste in my mouth. Every year they do something that doesn't make any sense at one of these shows.
Pretty sure that was Super Showdown, right?
It was.
That we watched.
It was Super Showdown.
That was with the Undertaker attacking Rey Mysterio to take his spot in the two-week Mountain Trophy, which would lead to Undertaker versus AJ at Mania. Miz and Morrison defeated The New Day. Angel Garza defeated Humberto Carrillo. Where the hell is Angel Garza at?
Angel Garza is tag teaming with Humberto Carrillo now on SmackDown following this show because additionally, the importance of Crown Jewel, it is the very last show before the draft takes effect. Does everyone remember draft picks? Does everyone remember where everyone's going? I hope we all do. So I'm going to be real. That's kind of determining some of my predictions here.
Yeah. Rollins and Murphy, now New Japan bound, defeated the Street Profits. Mansoor defeated Dolph Ziggler. Mansoor is now undefeated in Saudi Arabia matches. I think that is kind of a giveaway as to what my pick will be there later. Brock Lesnar defeats Ricochet in 90 seconds. Roman Reigns defeats King Corbin in a steel cage match. In the second women's match, Bayley defeats Naomi. And then the main event, as we previously stated, Goldberg over The Fiend.
I want to tell you, I feel like Roman Reigns, Baron Corbin, and steel cage was the best match on that card. I really want to tell that. Like, that's not a troll bone in me. That's not me, like, trying to pick fun or anything. Like, legitimately, I think Corbin Reigns was the best match on that card. I'm not talking Dave ratings, stars. I just legitimately, I feel like I remember that being the one match where I was like, yeah, okay, all right, we can do this. Just remember, though, Undertaker won a giant trophy to set up that he was going to fire the rest of the club.
Yeah.
That was their last appearance, was the Boneyard match at WrestleMania.
Yeah. If I could, since you brought Uncle Dave up, in what Dave Meltzer thought was the best match on the show, it was 2 3/4 stars out of 5. It was the Raw Tag Title match with Murphy and Rollins and the Street Profits, which is what I on paper, because I haven't seen this show in a while.
It would make the most sense to be very good. Everyone in that match is fantastic.
Yeah. Actually, I lied. Morrison and Miz and the New Day got 3 stars, but I'm right on board with that. Murphy, Rollins, the Street Profits, everyone in that match is fantastic.
The same thing. All the tag matches were good. Every wrestler in them was good.
Yeah. But you know what? Let's get onto the predictions.
Let's do
it. Let's start with what I think is the easiest one to predict here. It's going to be Mustafa Ali taking on Mansoor. They've been tagging for a while. Ali has been very against it. Mansoor is very like, hey, let's give this a shot. Let's keep trying. Let's do it. And just the losses keep piling up. Mustafa turned, which is going to lead to this match. And I think Mansoor comes out with the win.
I agree. Mansoor, I think, really isn't a bad wrestler. I think a lot of people kind of give him a bad rap because he's the Saudi Arabia guy, which is not fair to him. I think this could be a really good match. Both of these guys are fun in ring. Ali does not get to showcase just how great he is. So I'm really hoping they let him do it. Also, fun fact, Ali is donating his entire paycheck from this show to charity. It's really interesting to see the guys who do that because they don't necessarily agree with it. It's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Good on him for doing something right. I I know this is, and this kind of feels like every time we look at a crown jewel or a super showdown, it almost turns into like non-canon a little bit
Yeah,
because
it's like a
we get,
glorified house show almost.
yeah, we get people coming back, people, just having these one-off matches. So it almost seems like non-canon. So this is actually, looking at the rest of the card, this is surprisingly different. I think
Yeah,
from their previous shows.
it almost has to be, I feel.
Yeah.
Especially with the amount of pressure that they've put on it with, like I said, last show before the draft. There's a
Hmm.
lot of pressure, I think, for this to be successful. Even more so with everything that just happened on Friday that
Hmm.
popped out. So I really feel like they got to deliver big here. And on Friday, they're going to have a really tough time.
Yeah. Let's jump to the tag match for the WWE Raw tag team titles. It's RK Bro. That is Randy Orton and Riddle taking on AJ Styles and Almost. Matt, I'll let you go first.
So this one I think might be one of the more challenging ones, if I'm being honest with you. I really feel like it could go either way. We can
Mm-hmm.
move forward with Arcade Bro kind of breaking up and going into a singles feud, which I think a lot of people are really excited for, but they're enjoying the ride right now. I
Yeah.
feel like if AJ Styles and Omos lose here, you have to kind of start doing the whole AJ and Omos breakup bit. And
Mm-hmm.
I really like Omos. I like how they're protecting Omos, but I don't think he's ready just yet for it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'm going to go with AJ Styles and Omos winning. Logically, it makes the most sense. That doesn't necessarily mean that's what happens. To me, that's what logically makes sense.
Yeah. I'm going to piggyback off of that because I will agree. They almost split them up at the draft, but there were sources backstage that said that almost wasn't ready, to your point, and that he still needed some time, a little bit more seasoning. So it makes a ton of sense for a title change here, considering looking at the other title matches we'll get to, maybe some changes, maybe not some changes. But this one almost seems like a surefire bet, especially like you said, the Orton Riddle turn. That match is going to be great. The build up to that is going to be great. We have,
It's going to be a good match.
yeah. I mean,
I think once again, this also could be a good match.
Yeah.
A lot of sneaky good matches on this card, given time and given the right kind of story.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of really good matches. This is a stacked card. I don't think that's really being discussed a whole lot, but I apologize. I feel like I'm repeating that, but it's surprising to me how good this card looks.
Yeah. Speaking of, let's go to the triple threat match for the SmackDown Women's Championship with Becky Lynch defending against Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks. I think that Sasha's winning the title.
So here's my thing. Charlotte's not defending the belt, right?
Correct.
I don't see her having a match on here unless they do some kind of impromptu. Whoever wins the Queen's crown is immediately going to challenge the Queen, which I could see. Spoiler for later predicted. All I can think of, though, is last year when they switched the tag champs and they just switched belts. And I hate that, but I see it happening. I see it happening here because if Charlotte is on SmackDown full time, we need the belt on Raw. We need a Raw champion. I think we're just gonna hand off, and I think it would make sense for Becky to win here, especially since she just lost to Sasha on Friday, which I disagree with. Match was great. Hate the finish.
Yeah, that would be, and typically I'm very much against it. But I think because Sasha is staying on Raw or on SmackDown, correct?
Sasha's on SmackDown. Bianca and Becky, I believe, are on Raw. Charlotte is on SmackDown.
So I think just on paper, removing Charlotte from the conversation, it makes the most sense to just put the title on Sasha Banks.
Yeah, not factoring in what we're going to do with the Raw Women's title, which they could vacate it. They could. That's an option. They don't go to it very well, but they set this standard last year of if we're switching champions, they just switch belts. And I hate that. I know a lot of people hated that. I think there's so much more creatively we could do with it. I do think, though, this is Becky. This is Becky, and I think this is the kind of the handoff of belts will lead to a hype up for Survivor Series Charlotte versus Becky.
Ooh, okay. Yeah.
Brand versus brand.
I think I don't think there's a wrong answer here in this match. No. I think that Bianca proved that she can get over with the fans, which I think we can all agree that Becky Lynch taking the title off of her. Not only the fact that she took the title off of her.
I think it was the how.
But the how. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. How she could have taken it off her and still been fine if it was like a 10, 15 minute match. But we've ranted on this one before.
Yeah.
Just give her a little more respect as champ.
Yeah. And then my only thing is that if Bianca wins here, then like you said, we're looking at Survivor Series where it's going to be Bianca Belair like representing SmackDown. Or I guess now she's on Raw, so she'll be representing Raw, and then we'll do the title switch. Or
theoretically, you can still do that too, but I think at this point, let's invest more into the chase with Bianca back to the championship, build up to it, title match at Rumble, or maybe have Bianca win the Royal Rumble this year.
Yeah. Wait, no. Who won it? No, she won it
back to back.
Oh God.
Look, give her the super push. If you want to make her, do it. She's good enough, and she's a perfect poster child. She's the perfect person to represent your company, in my opinion.
It's fair. Yeah. What is left? Let's get to the Hell in a Cell match. Edge versus Seth Rollins. Yeah. I said this on the Wrestling Cast last night. This is the best feud that WWE has going across any of their brands right now. And it's because the way that Edge and Seth deliver promos and what they do in vignettes, and not to mention their barn burner of a match that they had at SummerSlam.
Can I read you a tweet that Edge put out 2 days ago? 2 days ago was the 22-year anniversary of the ladder match, I believe, between Edge and Christian and the Hardy Boys. Edge put out 22 years ago today, we started truly carving our path in the first tag team ladder match. 22 years later, I'm about to face off with a talent who will go down as one of the best to do it in Hell in a Cell. One hell of a ride. That is, in my opinion, like so much respect. I think that's kind of taken out of character. I think we all acknowledge Seth Rollins is one of the best wrestlers in the world today. Whether you agree with some of the things he says, that ain't it. In ring, he is pristine. He is incredible. And God forbid you take the chains off him and let him go wild like he has before in Ring of Honor and other promotions. A best bout machine. I want that match so badly. But I got to go Edge here. It makes the most sense to me. I think this is the blow off of the feud. They're both going to Raw, which I think is a miss personally. Edge, I feel like could really work the both brands bit. And I think that might rub some people the wrong way, but I think his kind of status of who he is could make that work.
Yeah.
But I think the last thing of Rollins hospitalizing Edge and then invading the house, like, nah, this has got to be the babyface one here, I think. Unless we're going further with this story, which I'm not. I think we need to branch away before we come back to it.
I think you're right, but I think you alluded to where I'm going with this is that they're both on Raw. Edge is only contracted to work X amount of matches a year, so if he chooses to work more, I guess it's up to him. I'm not really sure contractually how everything works out there. But to follow the trend of at least one Hell in a Cell match, you're doing this, no contest. And that is now, do I want to see that happen? Absolutely not, because that's not a rule. It's a no disqualification match. You can't lose. It just can't happen. In reality, like in our world of professional wrestling, it makes a ton of sense. Yeah. It makes a ton of sense for Edge to go over here for all the reasons you said. Rollins has been like the dirty, grimy heel and breaking into his house and hospitalizing him, sending him to the medical center, and it makes sense. Seth Rollins doesn't need to win, and I think we are on a trend just one a year, and I don't know why we are so just persistent about a Hell in a Cell match ending in a no contest. It's fascinating to me.
A question. Does Rollins needs a win to put himself in the title picture, or does his name and legacy alone let him get a match against Big E? Like, if he were to come out on Raw on Monday and win a fatal 4-way, would any of us really bat an eye? I feel like he's kind of earned that respect where he could be there even if he loses to Edge. I feel like this is a win-win situation for him storyline wise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think ultimately whenever they want to have that match, they have it. I think Rollins is due for another title run, honestly. I think that the winner of the King of the Ring match, the King of the Ring finals, because if memory serves me, they do get a world title shot, right?
Have they? You mean for this go around or just in the past?
Yeah. Well, no, for this go around, because I know in the past they've given them a title shot. I don't know if this is just for.
I can't remember.
I don't know, but I'm sure if that's the case, we'll have
that would change my prediction. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, I'll look that up while we move forward. But yeah, my prediction is no contest. I don't want it to happen, but I feel like just every year we've got to have one.
I hope this is your mulligan. You're one that you get wrong. Too. I hope it is.
Well, moving on.
You're not typically, but I want this to be the one.
Moving on then to the no holds barred match between Goldberg and Bobby Lashley. This is Goldberg 100%. This is Goldberg getting his win back. It was announced today that Gage Goldberg will be in the crowd at Saudi Arabia. This screams Goldberg win. While it would be immensely just praised if Bobby Lashley just destroyed Goldberg. I got to be honest, though. Their last match,
they did it pretty
well. Yeah. Goldberg looked better in this match than he has in the last few. I mean, Goldberg's matches have a formula to it. Don't stray away from the formula is really what we've been begging. If you're going to use him, if you're going to use him, just stick to what he's good at.
Don't take him out of the box.
But I think that Bobby Lashley was the right guy to pair him with to kind of stretch that match out a little bit. I think Bobby Lashley's physicality and in-ring moveset, I think, really enhanced that match. But this has got Goldberg written all over it. If Gage Goldberg wasn't in the crowd, I would have probably gone Lashley.
You don't think this could be like
passing of the torch?
Hurt Business beats up Gage and Goldberg takes his eyes off the prize and gets hit? Look, I don't mean to crush any kind of faith you had in your prediction, because I think you're right. You're right. This is like the most non-consequential way to get Goldberg his win. It's not for a title. Lashley won't look bad because it's no holds barred, and he could get crotched by Gage for all we know. Here's the thing, though. Like, let's be real. Lashley should be the face of this. He got jumped on from behind, and we're acting all like, oh, it's Goldberg's child, so he shouldn't do anything. He got in the ring. That's on him. Look what happened when a guy got in the ring with Stone Cold and Triple H.
Mm-hmm.
Triple H beat the hell out of him for Stone Cold.
Mm-hmm.
That's the business, man. Don't get in the ring if you don't want to accept the consequences.
No, you're right. I think that Lashley should be the face here. I think putting the Hurt Business back together is a fantastic idea. My only problem with that is, are they going to be at the show? Because they're not on the card, and I don't know really the details of who's coming, who's not.
I think they'll be there just for this match. If Gage is ringside, I would bet you that they'll at least get involved. You're either going to have Goldberg wreck all of them or some kind of interaction there.
But I'm gonna go with Goldberg as much as it kills my heart.
With you. Would love to be wrong on this one as well. I think Bobby Lashley should have the world. He's been so great for so long. I'm really happy he's getting this streak here going. I would love to see him continue it, but it's just this is the best way to get Goldberg a win without it really hurting Lashley.
Yeah, and I think that was the real red flag before Big E cashed in was, oh, we know we're going to have this rematch. You know, do we have Bobby Lashley retain or do we have Goldberg have another title run? So I think that's a great point where Goldberg can win and everybody comes out of this kind of hands clean this time.
I wouldn't be opposed to, though, Lashley retaining a title over him in a no-holds-barred. I love when Lashley just gets these dominant wins. I know a lot of people kind of hated how he did Kofi a couple of pay-per-views ago, but I thought that was great for his character.
Yeah, agreed. No, agreed. I think this Bobby Lashley is the best Bobby Lashley we've seen.
It's the same Bobby Lashley we saw in Impact.
Yeah, except on a grander stage, and I
still was MVP.
Yeah, still. So let's get these tournaments here. Let's start out with the one that I hate more. This is the Queen's Crown Tournament final.
Can I hit you with a stat here?
This is Doudrop versus Zelina Vega for the finals. Go ahead.
So, I assume that if you guys are watching us, you look at Fightful, you look at those people, and you look at Denise Salcedo, who, in my opinion, is a great journalist. She puts the work in, and she's also a ring announcer for independent wrestling shows, but she's been pretty consistent with keeping track of how long these matches have been for the Queen's Crown.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pulling it up here.
And as you're pulling that up, you can also check out Draven. He is at Wrestling Covers. He's done he's done media for multiple guys in AEW, including the Young Bucks. But he's at Wrestling Covers. He's done the same thing.
So let's hit these times on these matches here. First round, SmackDown, Zelina Vega, Toni Storm, 2 minutes, 13 seconds. Carmella, Liv Morgan, 1 minute, 33 seconds. Let's go over to Raw. Shayna, Dana Brooks, 1 minute, 22 seconds. Natty and Doudrop, 2:59. 2:59 is the longest match so far in this tournament. SmackDown semis, Carmella and Zelina, 2 minutes, 41. Doudrop, Shayna, 2 minutes, 46. That's a grand total. Because there's someone who also did this math. Total match time is 13 minutes, 34 seconds. Average match time, 2 minutes, 16. There's a possibility that this entire tournament doesn't go over 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm. I'm
that's a shame.
Yeah, no, you're right. And I said it in our group the other day, and this is no knock. This is absolutely no knock on Piper Niven, but in this whole tournament, the two longest matches involved the least athletic, probably the most green wrestler, and then you look at the whole field in general. This is showing either one of two things. One, you take the big names out of the women's division, and this is what you're left with. Or two, we are not utilizing our women's divisions appropriately.
It's number two.
Yeah,
it's number
100%.
two. Here's some other quick facts here. The first women's match in Saudi Arabia, Natty versus Lacey Evans, went 7 minutes, 21 seconds. SmackDown Women's title defense and Super Showdown was 11 minutes and 30 seconds. And I'll be real with you, both of those matches were given way more build than this one has. You have 8 women who, in my opinion, are all incredibly talented and can all be top-line wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
You have 5 hours between Raw and SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't give this entire tournament more than 14 minutes?
Nope.
Like, period? Well, I care because I genuinely like to see these wrestlers. But they don't give me a reason to care. I want to care. This is really cool. The Queen of the Ring tournament is fantastic and something that fans have asked for forever.
Mm-hmm.
Give these women some respect, because if you expect them to be champions down the road and you want us to care about them, this should be a crowning achievement. I apologize because that pun is not intended, but this is meant to be a big deal. This is the first winner of this entire thing. For the Mae Young Classic, you built this up to be huge. Title shot, everything. Huge blow-off match. Give it the same respect.
Yeah. I'll draw this in comparison because there's been a lot of WWE versus AEW comparisons as of late. The big crowning achievement for AEW over, at least this calendar year, I think was Double or Nothing. The grand return back to fans. They had a packed house. And the big thing going into the weekend was we all thought that it was going to be Britt Baker's. It's going to finally be her time. Her match with Shida was great.
Fantastic.
It went 17 minutes.
Yeah.
And I think, and even if you look at her title defense against Statlander, that went about 11 or 12 minutes, if I remember correctly. But you can look, and I think the big problem, because I don't want to get too stuck on AEW here, is that we were all kind of in the same boat, like the weak link or the kink in the chain here with AEW was, the women's division, and that the WWE main roster and the NXT women's division were some of the best in the world. And now we're looking here, years later, and I got to tell you, the talent is there. I think the booking is the issue.
It is the strong. I will take heat, and people will argue with me. It is similar to the WWE roster across the board, the most talented roster. You have all of the pieces. You have all of them. Seth Rollins, one of the best in the world. Any of the 4 horsewomen are some of the best women's wrestlers in the world. Io Shirai, who legitimately, and like this is not just male or female, is considered a top talent amongst everyone. And she's just there. I don't know if the plan is to keep Io in NXT, but you could have had Io in this thing. And that would have been a great call. If that's the goal, is to build a star, and that's going to go into my prediction here. I apologize because I'm ranting.
You're fine.
This is to build a star. If the whole point of this whole thing is to put someone on the map, you have the talent to do it. But if you don't invest in the story or invest in the journey to it, the fans aren't going to care. They're going to boo it. I'm trying to find the time here for how long Ruby Soho versus the Bunny was on Rampage. But
I can find that out rather quick.
I want to tell you it's close to the entire length of this tournament. And it's going to come down to the question of what do you value more, a longer match or more exposure, more matches in a shorter period of time. And I would really like to just meet him in the middle. Not every match has to be 20 minutes. Not every match has to be 15 minutes. Give me 2 8, 9-minute matches, long enough for me to go through a commercial break, maybe. Invest in. Go ahead.
10:43.
10:43.
With the Bunny and Ruby Soho.
We're 2 minutes and 50 seconds off from meeting this entire tournament so far. For a throwaway match on Rampage. I'm once again not trying to compare two brands. I'm specifically trying to look at what is being emphasized here. A lot of people had expectations for Shayna Baszler to win this whole thing. A lot of people are thinking maybe it's because of Saudi Arabia's relationship with the LGBTQ community. Additionally, if you notice, every woman who was on this match is married. There was also a fun fact that was brought to my attention. I'm not sure if that has anything to do with it because it's wild. It's wild. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
it's crazy.
But if you're going to do this right, and if you're going to do this the right way, if you're putting emphasis on this tournament and you're trying to make someone, Doudrop needs to win this match.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong at all.
I love Zelina Vega. I love Thea Trinidad. She hasn't been very well respected this entire time since re-signing with the company, and I hope that does change, and I want that to change. I would love to see her get invested in this. Her being on SmackDown makes me feel that she is not necessarily SmackDown needs contenders, and this would be a very quick way to put someone up against Charlotte. But ultimately, I think you have a more higher ceiling giving this to Doudrop, letting Doudrop take that win, roll with it. I'm not sure if I'm fantasy booking at this point or just predicting, but I think Doudrop is the right choice.
No, and I completely agree. I think this should be a Doudrop win. It will not go longer than 3 minutes. That would be par for the. No match has been over 3. They haven't done anything to prove me otherwise.
I'm going to predict that this match will be 7 minutes long. I think that because this is a pay-per-view at Saudi Arabia, they aren't necessarily set to a specific time for how long the show is required to be. They'll give it a little bit more. Probably not as much as it should, or maybe a little bit more than it should. I don't know how long Thea Trinidad's capable of going in the ring at the moment. Additionally, for Doudrop has been known for being able to go in these longer stretch matches, which is why she's such a fantastic pickup for the roster and fantastic talent. But if you're not utilizing her properly, we're gonna mess this up. We've rushed the Eva Marie separation to really promote her. We brought back Eva Marie to introduce Doudrop. Let's do it. Let's make the move.
Awful. But yeah, over to the more exciting King of the Ring, Finn Balor versus Xavier Woods, and I'm very excited for this.
This is a prediction against my heart and my head.
Yeah.
And usually when it comes to this in this specific company, the right choice is my head, because typically this company steps on my heart a couple times a week.
It's fair.
I want, with all of my heart, for Xavier Woods to be the king of the ring, because he has been pushing for this to be back forever now, and he's been pushing to be the king of the ring, and everyone who's been a part of the New Day has had their singles thing except for Xavier Woods. All of them. Like, it's not even a title, man. It's not even a title. If you're gonna do it, and then put him in the Intercontinental title. If you're scared to put Xavier Woods in the ring with Roman Reigns,
yeah,
or have the title defense on SmackDown before Survivor Series. because there's always a title match on SmackDown before Survivor Series, and typically it's the title change. And you can build that up, and you can build up the history between Xavier Woods and Big E, and how great would an Xavier Woods versus Big E match for Roman Reigns to be the ultimate heel and rip out the heart.
Yep.
Do it. I've sold myself. Woods. It's Woods. It should be Woods. The right answer is Finn Balor, but it should be Xavier Woods.
You're absolutely correct in everything you said. I mean, it sucks that we're gonna bring Finn Balor back up, and we're gonna bring the Demon, and he's gonna get defeated by God or Roman's divine intervention.
Wait. That further confirms that God hates Finn Balor. Xavier Woods winning. Xavier Woods is winning. The buckle's gonna break again.
Something's gonna happen. I'm telling you, it's weird. I'm
popping myself over this. I'm sorry.
I'm on it. I'm on board. Everything makes sense. We only got 2 matches left on this thing. Let's start with the one that I think that one more than the other, and it's Big E defending the WWE Championship against Drew McIntyre. We're both going Big E. I mean, there's no doubt there.
Because he's your WWE World Champion. I love Big E. I love Etor.
Listen, the fact that Big E, in just such a short amount of time since winning the WWE Championship, has already been to college football games, and he's done the opening introductions for
everything that we said it would be. Mm-hmm. He's the right guy. He's a great person. He's a great wrestler. He's a great entertainer. He's a crowd favorite. His match with Drew McIntyre here is gonna be killer. I think it's gonna be incredibly overlooked by a lot of the other matches on here, but this match in particular has a lot of opportunity to be great, and it should be. I'm gonna change my phrasing because I'm tired of the puns. It should be a big win for the starting career as a world champion for Big E. I can already see the Claymore getting reversed into the big ending. Yeah.
I think this would be a huge notch in Big E's belt as far as being a true champion, and not just being somebody that cashed in. I think this would be big for Big E. We're already gearing up towards Survivor Series, as I predicted. Extreme Rules. I had to remember what the last show was. Shit. But this is kind of what we're all driving to. This is just happens to be the road or the speed bump in the road here. But it doesn't matter who's on the other side. Big E should be the representative for Raw, without a doubt. It doesn't make sense.
Will be.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense for Drew McIntyre to take the title off of Big E. Yeah. It doesn't make any sense.
He's not even staying on Raw.
And there will be people out there like, oh, well, Brock Lesnar's a free agent. He can go wherever he wants to go. Okay.
Drew McIntyre's not Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So if Drew McIntyre takes the title of SmackDown, I guess Brock Lesnar's bringing the Universal title to Raw if he wins. Like, come on.
Nope.
But that's not going to happen because here we have Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar, and Roman Reigns is retaining.
What if I told you this is going to be a squash match?
Oh, boy.
What if I told
Goldberg
you
level?
That Roman Reigns is going to squash Brock Lesnar? How does that make you feel, just hearing that?
Doesn't make me feel any particular way because if you remember when Paul Heyman turned on Brock Lesnar at Survivor Series,
2003?
Thereabouts. He was the undisputed champion. It was Brock Lesnar versus the Big Show. It was about a 4-minute match.
Maybe that was 2002. I think it was 2000. It was before the Angle
We'll
Lesnar
do
title
so.
match at 19. I think it was 2003.
World Heavyweight Champion. Championship ranks. But yeah, it was about a 4-minute match. It was 2002. It was 4 minutes and 19 seconds.
So close to being so great.
Oh, gosh. Paul Heyman got involved on behalf of the Big Show. Gave Big Show a chair, and took the title from him. I think this could be very reminiscent of that. And this was the first thing I thought of when Brock Lesnar came back.
So here's my thing, and this is gonna go off a little bit some reports that I've heard. So it isn't me trying to make as close to an educated guess as I can. The word is that Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns is the WrestleMania match this year. It is the match.
Again,
yes, this is like the third or fourth Mania where we're doing this again. But I think there's going to be a bit more intrigue in it because I think if they do what I think they're going to do, the story will be better. Because it's not suffer and succotash Roman. It's the head of the table. And this is the best iteration of Roman that we've ever gotten. We can all agree with this. Get rid of your Infinity Gauntlet. Just tape up your fists. Throw on one elbow pad just cause. Go back to your Liaki trunks. Roman Reigns here is top line where he's going to be at. It doesn't make sense for us to go to a Big E versus Brock Lesnar match at Survivor Series. And honestly, the coolest thing we can do, man, your mustache is crazy.
Yeah, it just comes and goes. It's very mystical
there for a second.
It's very mystical.
But I feel like the big angle that's going to come out of this is that Roman Reigns is going to get screwed by Brock Lesnar against Big E. So Big E picks up the biggest win of his career against Roman Reigns at Survivor Series. And it'll be huge, and a lot of people are going to rally behind it. And it should be what happens because I've been predicting that Big E was going to be the guy to take the belt off of Roman.
Mm-hmm.
Brock Lesnar's not taking the title here. Paul Heyman, I think, is going to reaffirm that he is Roman's guy for the time being.
Yeah.
Look at the way Brock Lesnar is trying to play these mind games. Heyman's going to be a focal point no matter what. I think it makes more sense for Heyman to reaffirm that he is with the bloodline. I think Usos get involved to a degree early on before the match, maybe they hit Lesnar before the match, attack him, whatever. I think Roman's walking away here, and it makes sense to end with this huge heel thing here. Roman's over big in Saudi Arabia. If you guys look back at his matches there, he's huge, and I can only imagine what the reaction is going to be now. I think it's going to be interesting because he hasn't been heel before, and they try and stick pretty typically to heel face ratio over there. I mean, it's like 1980s wrestling when it comes to Saudi Arabia and crowd reactions. They might boo Roman Reigns out of the building. I don't think that's going to happen. I think they get cheer him because people like Roman Reigns currently in his current iteration.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think there's really any need for Paul Heyman to turn here. I think you're on the right path where we're gonna get Roman Reigns, versus Big E at Survivor Series, and that's where Big E picks up the big win. No pun intended. Again.
Here's my question for you, and this is maybe the most important prediction we are going to make tonight. Are you ready? Does Brock Lesnar have his samurai bun in Saudi Arabia, or is he going to cut it before the match?
No, he's going to have it.
He's going to go full Daniel Bryan?
Yeah.
Bryan Danielson.
If he comes out of the tunnel and he is hopping up and down, throwing his arms in the air. That's when we know the full turn is complete.
I almost want him not even to have it up, and it's just like, just
He might
give me some meme material. That's all I'm asking for.
I think my question to you, because if you remember when Goldberg made his return the first time, and it was at Survivor Series, and it was fantasy warfare, and we had these string of matches between Goldberg and Lesnar leading up to Mania, where Lesnar finally, got his revenge from the losses that have been piling up. Do you think that storyline will parallel the Reigns Lesnar feud now on the way to WrestleMania, where Lesnar will eventually win the title back?
Oh, that's hard. I think Brock's winning the Rumble.
Whoa, okay.
Because hear me out on this. I think it's one of two people. I'm like,
hold on.
I'm putting a lot of faith in WWE that they have this actually mapped out.
That when he came in at number 1, he got eliminated at number 15. What if he walks in and he's like, listen, I want to be number 16 so I can just get to the end and just win it?
What I bet you is going to happen is it will be like the final 5 are Edge, Rollins, the Usos, and at 30 comes out Brock Lesnar, who has to take out the Usos and Seth Rollins to win the Rumble. And of course, he's going to immediately challenge Roman Reigns.
Oh, yeah.
And it'll be a big babyface win don't
forget the sign point.
You got to get that like Ronda Rousey. Not opening up her chest to camera and everything.
Yeah.
And also, Seth Rollins versus Big E is the other main event on the other side. I'm shooting here. This is what I'm thinking.
And I know we're fantasy booking way down the line, but this is
kind of where you set it up.
Yeah, this is. Yeah, I mean, Survivor Series is one of the big 4. That's in November. There's not going to be a December pay-per-view. I think that's the other thing to remember, because
I don't
TLC
think there's
is
another
canceled.
one after Survivor Series until the Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
Which
You're right.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of excited for. There's a lot of room for them to really build storylines. It's something that we've discussed that I really love when they have the opportunity to just build between pay-per-views. That's why I love the brand split and the split pay-per-views that they did. There's so much they can do with this time period. Really build up some guys who you think could be future contenders, and guys who you think are going to be main cards at Mania.
Yeah, and I know they're treating the January 1st show as the pay-per-view. But you're right, and that's why I think the storytelling for AEW, here we go with the comparisons again, is so fantastically done. And that's because they give storylines the time to breathe. They utilize the 2-hour show they have on Wednesday, the 1-hour show they have on Fridays, the time they have on YouTube for Dark and Elevation. They utilize the time, and they don't oversaturate their calendar with just pay-per-view after pay-per-view. And they have their big 4. They stick to it. They let everything breathe. They come out of it, and then they regroup. And it's worked tremendously for them. I think they're the best as far as storytelling goes in professional wrestling today. And it's because they do exactly what we're hoping WWE does now, and that is utilize the time they're given and actually build stories.
They have WWE has all of the tools. It has all of the assets. It has everything right in its hands. Flip the switch. Let's roll. Let's do it, because it's possible. It's there. Mm-hmm. And we are critical of WWE. We are.
Very.
Any longtime listeners, you know this. Prior to AEW, we were very critical of WWE still.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's ramped up because of AEW. But we all grew up, for the most part, WWE fans. It was all we had for a while. We want it to be good. When AEW popped up, the first things out of our mouths was it's going to push everyone to do better. How WWE responds to everything that happened last Friday, whether you count it as a fluke or if you count it as something to legitimately be concerned about for the future in terms of their 18 to 49 demo head-to-head comparison from SmackDown, which is the A show, to Rampage. Once again, SmackDown not on Fox, on FS1. That is a very clear difference, something to look at. But it shows that you got to make some changes. You got to pull in this younger crowd. And I'm very, very curious to see the reaction. I'm not sure if it's going to be knee-jerk or if it's going to be built up, but I think it really starts here at Crown Jewel and on Friday SmackDown, which I don't want to say this because I don't want it to happen, but I feel like it needs to be said. You cannot afford to have travel issues.
Yeah.
SmackDown needs its main stars because you do not have the talent currently in NXT to take over SmackDown again.
And then the other side of that is this is a co-branded show. You don't have enough big name Raw players hanging back to quote unquote invade Raw. You don't have an Adam Cole on NXT to come up and save the show. To your point, there's not enough in NXT to do that again. I think it's imperative that the show is over.
Take care of business.
Get your ass back to the States. Don't let it hang around and get out of Saudi. And that is not for fear of anything. That is don't F around.
Don't let a repeat happen.
Yeah, because if you do, you're going to lose people. And the last time you can look at it and say, oh, well, it was planned, or there was money issues, or there was engine failure, whatever you want to attribute that to, call it a fluke. But if it happens again, something's up. And that's when you're going to start to lose people.
That is a very big thing. But additionally, I think SmackDown is at bat and needs a home run. I don't say that in that they have to get everything right, but they have to deliver on reasons for us to be very excited for this shakeup. There's a lot of really cool things that could happen. The SmackDown main event for their main roster, for their men specifically, has guys who are not typically main event players on there. A lot of us are really looking at Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre and like, okay, we know that's going to be the match that's going to get us to somewhere. That's going to get us to a point. But there's a lot of room to elevate talent up. Even if they're going to lose to Roman Reigns in the build-up to his big match with Brock Lesnar, or lose to Lesnar down the line. Build. Use this time. Hit a home run. Set up fantastic stories that you have in the palm of your hands. Mm-hmm. Really take Crown Jewel of what should be a stacked card. Deliver there. Deliver throughout. Pull people back in. That's all what we all want. Everyone should want that.
Yeah, and we constantly say it. There is no better time to be a wrestling fan than now. And exactly like you said, we had AEW and we hoped that it would make everybody want to be better and do better. And, say what you will about Vince McMahon. He's old, he's seen out, he's out of touch. We know that. Okay. We know that. But now, now is the time to really step up to the plate and really better your brand. I really truly hope that this is a new fresh start and the draft will be turning the page and it's a new chapter and we can come on the Wrestle Talk on Monday and say this is fantastic.
You mean the takeover?
Is that on Sunday too?
You said Wrestle Talk on Monday.
WrestleCast. But then you said the takeover.
Wrestle Talk is on. Yeah, because we used to be the PWO takeover on Mondays.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
We've rebranded a couple times.
That's kind of the.
We don't even know if takeovers are a thing anymore.
Halloween Havoc, I know, is right around the corner. But
it's gonna be a fun one to predict.
For now, let us know in the comments below what your Crown Jewel predictions are. Whether you think we'll get any surprises, whether any titles will change hands, how this will affect. Let us know. Let us know what you're thinking.
Tell us if you're excited.
Yeah.
This should be a fun card. We should all come home from work or school and enjoy it. Do what we can. Get over the political aspects of it. Throw it out the window. It's hard. Do it. Enjoy wrestling. Do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you be good, WWE.
And in the breath of enjoying wrestling and in the breath of commenting, check out our other incredible YouTube content. We have some ravishing reviews coming out. A lot of ravishing reviews because Mustache Ryan's behind. I have a schedule. I've got a bunch of stuff coming out over the next 2 weeks, including on Sunday morning. Well, actually, it's to be Saturday, but Sunday that'll be Halloween. Our watch along will be up. It'll be myself. It'll be Matt, and it'll be the co-host of Referee's Discretion. That'll be Jeff the Hitman Hall. They don't know what the show is.
I don't want to know. Don't say it. If you do, tell me so I can leave the room. I want to be surprised.
No, they don't know what the show that I'm choosing is going to be.
That's a shoot. That's real. That's a shoot.
Yeah. The only promise that I made Jeff, because we suckered him in 2 years ago, is that it's not going to be a Crown Jewel. That's the only promise I've made. Everything else is
what if it's good this year?
What if it's good, that's good for everyone. If it's bad, well, then chalk it up to Saudi being Saudi then.
You sure we can't trick Jeff still? I mean, we don't necessarily need to do it for the 31st, but I just love getting Jeff on one.
We probably
been a minute.
I don't even know if he'll watch this, but Jeff, if you're watching, we're gonna do Crown. We're gonna watch Crown Jewel. Okay. If you're not watching, then we're not watching Crown Jewel. But no, that'll be up Saturday night or Sunday morning. And then Halloween, we are in Knoxville for Next Generation Wrestling, Tennessee. It's Nightmare in the Old City. We're back. A bunch of great stuff going on. Go to nextgentn.net, get your tickets. While you're there getting your tickets, get your tickets for the next show that they are putting on a month later. A rarity for Next Generation Wrestling. They're coming to the great state of Virginia. They're coming to Richmond. This will be November 28th. The only reason I know that is because it is after my son's birthday. But yeah, while you're there getting your tickets for Nightmare in the Old City, get your tickets to The Bogus Journey. We have mentioned many times how it was supposed to be an excellent adventure before COVID. They were supposed to come and see us here in Yorktown, here in Virginia, and everything shut down. The world blew up essentially. So here we go again. Excellent adventure didn't happen. So now we're on A Bogus Journey. So we're welcoming them. That should be a fun show as well. If you're not familiar with Next Generation Wrestling Tennessee, go to High Spots Network. Guys, it is the best $9.99 in the biz. Okay, and that is on God. Okay. Also, if you like what you're watching, you want to support us, it's kobe.com/PWO123. It's as easy as 123, and for just the price of a cup of coffee a day, you can support ravishing reviews. You can support prediction shows. You can support
Ryan's mustache.
You can support my mustache. You can support us going to Tennessee. You can support us going to more wrestling shows. We want to put on great content for you. And if you support us, we will give it to you. Okay? The goal here is to break even, but at the end of the day, we are all in this for the same goal. We are here to watch and talk about wrestling. It's honestly the greatest soap opera in the world. You have your telenovelas. You have your One Life to Lives. Okay, you have your General Hospitals. Okay, but this is professional wrestling. Damn it. Okay, it's the best in the world. Okay, like what you like. Don't be a dick. That's for you, Brian Zane. Okay, Matt. Anything?
In the wise words of Sean Ross Sapp, it was asked if Ryan and I can they coexist, and you know it because baby, it's the 2-man power trip. I can't wait to see you again.
Oh yeah. Guys, all the socials are in the description. Thank you so much for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. And we will see you soon. A couple of days, another prediction dropping. And the PWO WrestleCast back on Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Check us out. Guys, this is what wrestling was, is, and always should be. Thank you so much for watching.